Welcome to the Friday Power Lunch, a weekly show amplifying the voices of the Virginia grassroots. Each week, we provide engaging conversations about politics, culture, and women making change. Produced by the unstoppable women of Network Nova, our motto is, when we vote, we win. The Friday Power Lunch is recorded before a live Zoom audience. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and show us some love and become a sponsor through Patreon. The Friday Power Lunch. Badass women getting things done.
Today from Network Nova Live, October 18th. Hard to believe it. You all are on the Friday Power Lunch. I'm Katherine White, your host, bringing you the guests, the issues, the action. We are fueling the grassroots community across Virginia and coast to coast because we get things done and we love to make politics fun. I'm so excited. We'll be dialing up the vote today, talking to voters, and our guests are in the room. I want to give a special shout out to Jessica Craven, getting up, hair washed, all ready to go. She has been so busy getting us, if you follow her on Chopwood Carry Water, just daily giving us great tips. And today she'll be talking to us about phone banking, giving us some great tips and the art of how we do communicate to voters. So we're really excited about that. And we also have on congressional candidate Leslie Mehta. Thank you, Leslie, for coming in. And we're going to be doing some great stuff for Leslie and the other women running across Virginia. And lastly, we will have on delegate Amy Laufer, and she'll be representing Gloria Witt's race in CD5. And she has been stumping for Gloria Witt, and there's been great news about Gloria Witt. So we'll talk about that later. But boy, she is bringing it to John McGuire in that district, if you watch the debate. So we need to know how important it is that we lean into these races. So thank you for everybody being here. And I'm excited to get this show on the road. So let's do our power chat and do some chitty chat before we talk to our guests, because I'm feeling sort of courageous. Feeling good. I'm feeling great. And my friend, hey, you have a power necklace on. I love it. What is that? Like a big daisy?
It's a big old pink daisy with a big old piece of fake diamond in the middle, which I love. And of course, the pearls.
I love it. Is that your power necklace today?
It is my power necklace today because you know why? Today, I feel exactly what you said. I feel courageous and I feel optimistic today, which is going to be what I'm going to carry on until the election. So I'm going to tell you why. So can I tell you why I feel courageous?
Yes.
So here's why I feel courageous. I was so excited to see the vice president on Fox News.
Oh, yes.
And let me tell you why. Because it takes a lot of courage to go where no one wants to go. And to see her there, confident and in her own self to say what she needed to say. And I just thought that, to me, that was a lesson for all of us. For her to go to Fox News, where we know that it's like the lion's den.
It is the lion's den.
It's like how some of us might feel deciding if we're going to canvass or knock doors or phone bank or any of those things, that now is the time to be courageous in these things. And she's given us the example to do that.
Yeah, I love it. And like when I said that she's making this personal, the political personal, she really is showing herself. People are getting to know her, see her. And boy, did she really gave it on Fox News. I'll say that when I watched her push back, and this was, I mean, really, he came off as being just so not really an interview, but just talking to himself and interrupting her constantly. And I really think it was just reflected poorly on him, because she really was excellent and talked about the points. And you're right. You have to go to these uncomfortable spaces. And actually, we should be there all the time. And that's why we need to go into communities that people say, well, there's so many Republicans in there. It's like bullshit, man. If once you show up, you realize how many people there that really could benefit from the policies we have, need to learn the facts. So, I'm excited that everybody's doing something. And what brought me really joy, I want to share, because today we'll be talking about, the telephone, is that we have young women. I don't know if you could show the graphic, Robbin, but that they're going to be dialing up little girls getting loud for Kamala Harris. And Monday night, they're going to do a phone bank. And that just makes me so happy because I'm like, everybody is playing a role and could have a voice in this.
Yeah, little girls. And so now she's been on the
I'm
show
nervous
before.
about that. I sort of say to you when they were calling people, are people going to be mean to those little girls? I was like, I love the idea, but I'm like, so I was just excited though that they.
But what she'll have to say is she goes, wait, 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 I'm 12. I'm 12 before you say that. Maybe that will get them. Who knows? We'll have to
Done
see.
it with these people. I'm not
But
really
I
sure.
love but think about that courageous of, 12 and 14-year-olds to get on the telephone. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I wanted to see if you had any takeaways with some of her interviews when you saw her go on, Roland Martin or Charlemagne the God. I think that I was just so impressed with her ability to really push back. And when he said to her, Charlemagne said to her, you just people say that you're one down about you is that you just stick to the script. You just can't, you don't veer off. And she goes, you mean I'm disciplined? So I just feel like the more people see her and see her in action, I think the better. So.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And we get to do the same thing. We get to have this role model that we get to
Right.
go out and watch and emulate. And I think that is something that everybody wants to see their daughters, their little girls in their lives do that. So this is perfect. And it's perfect for us, and especially as we are counting down and going through the home stretch.
Yeah. Was there anything else on your mind that you want to set things up for today when we're talking about talking to voters, some of the things you're doing?
Yeah, so we're doing, yeah, I always say and that you can't just say or. This is the time for as many ands as you can. So I know we're going to be talking about in our Do Something challenge some really important things that we're going to need to really hammer home about what we need to do in order to get the final things done that we should get done. But I think it's everything. It's flyers.
Right.
It's everything that you can do. It's phone banking, but I want to save that for the Do Something challenge.
Oh,
So
I know. We're going to be doing something. So for people new to the room, we have been doing this every Friday, and we're on what, number 7? Do something?
yeah, we're on number 7.
No, we're on number 8.
Oh, I thought. Oh, we're number
We're
8.
number 8. Oh,
We
Lord
are.
have mercy. Don't
Lord,
make me go through all 7 though, because I won't be able to
we
do
won't be
it
able to
today.
remember. So, one thing when we're talking about contacting voters, we see in our own state, Virginia, I'm going to say to everybody, keep all eyes on Virginia. I know that all the other groups are looking at Philadelphia, into PA, North Carolina, those are important, but Virginia is equally important. We have some really great races here, and we have to hold Andrew Vidman's seat, which is CD7, and we have the chance and opportunity to flip CD2. And we also have some great candidates today. We have Leslie Mehta in CD1. She is neck and neck in CD1, and we can take that seat. Wouldn't that be a great surprise for democracy? And Gloria Witt in CD5 out in Charlottesville. Watching that we are getting super competitive, we need to lean into Virginia. So today I want to make sure that we remember how much, that we need to do what we can, because we are going to make sure that we hold Virginia, and we really.
Yeah, and I think the final thing that I would add to that before you go
Right.
is, and I love the way you say lean into Virginia, because and
Yes.
we've seen on TV, we saw, the man with the orange hair get all over himself because of Virginia, because we did the right thing and let those votes stay where they need this, those voters stay on the ballot. Stay where they're supposed to stay. So Virginia is important, but to
Yes.
your point, no focusing on Virginia
Yes.
as much, and so it is up to us to do that. And I think today's conversations will prove that, so that folks will want to get involved, help us flip what people thought was unthinkable in Virginia.
Unthinkable. And I'm going to say that, remember, read the paper today. Election charges are false, Virginia suit says. So we have Glenn Youngkin causing all kind of voter silliness. And he's doing this for a purpose to villainize, again, the immigrant community. And we know that this is something that I am glad to see, that there is an election official having a suit against this administration because what they've done again is caused harm and are unnecessarily causing election interference. So everybody stay on top of that. And I'm very excited that we're going to have our first guest on today. Jessica Craven is here with us because we want to get right to it. And I want to welcome her into the room, author of Substack newsletter Chopwood, Carry Water, activist, badass, organizer, and you call yourself a climate hawk. And I love that. And you're obviously a TikTok creator. And why we really wanted to reach back out to you. You were at the Women's Summit on stage, which was awesome. But every day you give so much hope and you give so much great information. Today about talking to voters, and especially on the telephone, a lot of people have issues. We get on the telephone trying to figure out how to talk to voters, how to make that contact. So that was one reason. When we'll get to that, we really want to talk about phone banking, the art of that. But first, why don't you give us a little dose of what's on your mind? And I think that you really are a great barometer to what's going on and what we should be thinking about and caring about. And then we can talk about phone banking.
Okay, that sounds good. Hi, everybody.
Good to see
that
you.
sounds wonderful. It's always so nice to see all of you. Thank you for having me on. You're some of my favorite people. And I miss seeing you in person from the big convention that we all had together. So what's on my mind? Well, this morning I'm feeling good. I am in general feeling good. It is, yesterday, North Carolina early voting numbers. I haven't seen numbers yet, but anecdotally, from everybody I know, subscribers, et cetera, who are there, and then a little bit I saw on the news and on threads, again, really insane voter turnout in the first day of voting in North Carolina. Hour-long waits, 2-hour-long waits.
Right.
We saw that, I believe, in Virginia on day one. We saw it obviously in Georgia, which got a lot of coverage. I've heard anecdotally, again, in Tennessee, early voter turnout was huge. So that's really exciting for me. I think, I have been aware since 2022 that polls are weaponized and skewed and very inaccurate. We saw what happened with the red wave there, where we were told over and over and over and over and over we were going to lose, and then we didn't. And one of the things that I learned that time was to trust my gut. And especially because I write a newsletter about activists, I check in with my subscribers to find out what they're doing. Every Friday, we do a thing where I have everybody put in the comments of the newsletter what they're doing that weekend. And so I'm very in touch with what people are actually doing. Not what the polls say, not what the pundits think, not what, James Carville has to say today, but what people are actually doing, and also whether or not people are actually voting. And so the things that I can touch and I can prove are that people are breaking their backs to turn out the vote for this election. I have a postcarding hub on my front steps. I can't keep up. I think by the time we're done, just on my front steps for this election cycle, I think we will have given out somewhere between 80 and 90,000 postcards. And 20,000 of those will have been in the last week. I can't keep enough postcards on my stoop. I'm emergency ordering more.
Wow.
Because people are so desperate to write postcards. So, anything could happen. But I feel really good. I also feel good about the outcome of the Georgia election lawsuits that we just in the last couple of days, I think 7 lawsuits went our way. Mark Elias is, fantastic. There was an amazing team. I was on a call this morning with the Kamala Harris team, and I heard from the voter protection guy. They are working really hard. They do need more poll observers in swing states. And if anybody wants that link, the interest link, they really need more people, especially in Georgia. But, there's just a lot of really good people on the ground doing great work. So sorry, that was a long answer.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good long answer we want to hear, because I feel like the same thing is when we go into rooms, we're looking what people are doing, and that's not being reflected in the news and all this. So, it's really, easy to sort of get distracted by all the news that is going on and all the negative kind of views of, that we are bombarded with every day. So it's good that we know what we're doing and what people are doing, and that's really helpful. And I agree with you. For these lawsuits, even in Virginia, we are winning these lawsuits. We've had some really doozies ones recently, but the Virginia governor is joining in with this misinformation about the voter integrity and election stuff. And so be it. We're going to win those. And make sure that people feel like they can go vote, they can vote safely, blah, blah, blah. So perfect. So we talked about postcarding, and that's one way that we're communicating with voters. And then the thing we really felt today, especially we're doing an initiative in Virginia, we did it before where we called women into these districts because we know women are going to make the difference, and really contacting voters that low propensity, but maybe need that extra little touch. So in the sense of phone banking, let's talk about that medium to reach people, maybe in your experience, how to make it a very, if possible, fulfilling experience, so.
Yeah, let's talk about phone banking. Sorry, I'm distracted by the chat because I want to respond to like everything.
Oh, I love it. Do in real time, please respond to the chat. Yes.
Someone is saying, actually, I heard the red wave did happen, but not in the states where grassroots focused their efforts. There were, to a certain extent, two elections. There were elections where democracy was on the ballot and elections where it wasn't. And what happened was that the two states where we needed people to turn out where democracy wasn't on the ballot, which is California and New York, people did not, and that's why we lost the House.
Oh, I remember that. We studied that like you. And truthfully, what happened in New York, and the guy running the whole campaign, what was his name, lost his seat. And because they really didn't put abortion rights and democracy and the organizational infrastructure just wasn't there. It's there now. I could tell you that.
Well, and it was a couple of months after Dobbs, and people didn't understand at that point. I'm hoping they do much more now. That the road to the House goes through these blue states. So, and also democracy is on the ballot everywhere this election, and so are abortion rights. So it will be different, and it will be, I think, a more voluminous turnout because of that. Anyway, so phone banking here. I just want to talk a little bit about some of the best practices. I really do like phone banking a lot. I also recognize that it's really stressful and it's hard. Like anybody who says it's not hard is, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not hard for some people, but it's hard. We're calling people who don't want to be called. We are going to get rejected a lot because that's the nature of phone banking. People can't see you and they can't, your humanity isn't clear to them, so they can be rude. So it's hard. But I have also had more conversations than I can tell you over the phones that have been deeply consequential. Voters who were not going to vote, who I got to vote. Voters who needed help getting to the polls, who I was able to help get to the polls. I like to tell the story. I was phone banking for the Environmental Voter Project, and I talked to an elderly man in Georgia who wasn't going to vote because he couldn't get to the polls, and he didn't have anybody in his life who could take him. And this was unusual because I'm a content creator. I actually got on TikTok and said, I need somebody to drive an older guy to the polls in Peachtree Corner, Georgia. And another content creator lived there. She went and got him. She took him to the polls, and then they had lunch afterwards. And that's just a kind of a story to say that, like, when we get on the phones with people and they need help, as a phone banker, we can go to any lengths to help them. And it's a really powerful thing when we do. But we have to go into it first with a sense of sort of wonder and curiosity. Second, with a little bit of a tough skin. And third, with the willingness to go to any lengths to help every person we talk to. And in order to do that, I really need to go in there with an understanding of how critical every vote is. One of the things that people often will say is just like, I don't know if I'm going to vote. I don't know if my vote even really matters. And so I always go into phone banking armed with the story of Shelley Simons. And this is great for you all, many of you being in Virginia. I tell people, do you know the story of Shelley Simons? They almost always say, no, I don't know that story. And then I say, Shelley Simons was running for, I believe, House of Delegates or State Senate. It's delegate. In Virginia in 2017, you guys know the story. Her race was a tie. They did a recount. It was a tie again. And so they essentially had to draw the winner out of a hat. And she lost. And because of that, the disposition of that state house remained Republican for 2 more years. And as a result of that, 750,000 people did not get Medicaid for 2 more years. So when you say that your single vote doesn't matter, I am here to tell you that 750,000 people in Virginia would beg to differ, because they could have had health insurance 2 years earlier if one more person hadn't turned out to vote. And there are stories like that all over the history of politics in our country. Our elections are often determined by 1 vote, 5 votes. The presidential election in 2000 was determined by 500 votes in Florida.
Easy,
We
right?
can never say that our single vote doesn't matter. And in state house elections, particularly, it always comes down to a handful of votes. It is ridiculous how often it comes down to a single voter or a handful of votes. So when we tell people that, that alone is transformative for so many people who feel like their votes don't matter. So go in armed with a story like that. It really matters. Shelley Simons, write down her name so that you go in armed with that. The second thing I always tell people, and in the trainings, they'll sometimes tell you this, but they don't really emphasize it enough, is this idea of smiling when we come in. They say, smile when you dial, and then they kind of move on. But I am telling you guys, I put on a big, stupid hi when I talk to people on the phone. And the reason for that, there's data to back that when people hear a smiling sound in a person's voice, their back goes down. They're less likely to be defensive, because the first thing that I encounter when I talk to people is almost always defensiveness. You know, when I say, oh, hi, is Katherine there, please? The person will say, this is Katherine. Who is this? With this really like, oh my God. And we all do that, right? Nobody wants to get a call from a stranger. I am particularly afraid of calls from the DSCC, the Senate fundraising arm.
Oh, yes.
Because once that person starts talking, you can't stop them, right? And they talk for a long time, and it's impossible to stop them. So there's a few things I try to get in very quickly, and I try to get it in with a smiling voice. Oh, hi, Katherine. First of all, I'm so sorry I bugged you. Now, the people from the Senate committee never say that, right? I want to let this person know that I know I'm bugging them, and I really do regret it. Then I want to let them know that I am a volunteer. And sometimes I throw in the word mom, just because or I'll say I'm a middle-aged lady. I'm a mom. I'm just a volunteer. I'm sitting here with my dog. Anything to humanize myself quickly and let them know that I am not paid to make the calls. Because again, there's been studies on this, and people are more resistant to someone who is paid to make the calls. So, oh, hi, Katherine. I am so sorry to bug you. My name is Jessica. I am a volunteer, and then I'm going to let them know that this is going to be a really quick call. And the reason I do that is because, again, when I get one of these phone calls, I'm willing to talk to someone for a second, but the second I get the indication that this is going to be a long call and that they're not going to let me make it a short call, I just hang up. And I hate to do it, but I don't want to be on the phone for 10 minutes with someone. But if I am told I am just a volunteer, I'm so sorry to bug you, this is a super short call about the elections coming up in November. And then I can get to my script. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I never use the script that is provided to me on the phone bank. Sorry. Because those scripts are terrible.
I don't use it for canvassing either, just so you know.
I don't even.
You have to make it your own.
Never. What I do is I review the script so I know what the main points are they want me to hit, and then I hit them my way, because people respond better to that. When they hear someone reading robotically, forget it. And this is why I tend to have a better experience phone banking than some people who are new to phone banking, because I make the script my own. I bring Jessica to the calls, because people don't want to talk to a robot, but they're much more sympathetic to talking to a human. So all of that being said, with those kinds of things in my introduction, I'm often able to keep somebody on the phone. And then real quick, because I don't know how much time I have, but I imagine
you do. Now you have 5 more minutes.
Okay, good. The next thing is when we get to the actual conversation about the election. And this is where, again, we have to kind of be quick because people are looking for reasons to hang up. So a lot of times what we'll get are people saying, I'm not interested. I don't care about politics. Now, sometimes they're just going to hang up and there's nothing that we can do about that. If I get a woman on the phone and she says that, and I did this successfully recently, I will say, okay, I hear you. So you don't care about abortion rights?
Right.
Now, sometimes they'll hang up anyway, but I have had a woman recently say, oh, well, no, I do care about abortion rights. That's not politics, that's healthcare. And that's when I get to say, oh, great. So let me explain to you that when I think of politics, I think of everything that affects my life directly. And so that's going to be everything from climate change to gun violence to abortion rights to whether or not I actually can vote to food inspection. But in this case, we're talking about abortion rights. And in this election, I am absolutely voting on abortion rights. This election will 100% determine whether or not my child will be able to get an abortion when they need one. God forbid something horrible happens to them, because abortion rights are on the ballot in all 50 states in this election, including blue states. And that will often be enough to keep people on the phone. The other tactic I will use is if someone's like, I don't know, I'm not really interested. Katherine, do you mind if I tell you in under 30 seconds why I am embarrassing myself and getting outside of my comfort zone to make these phone calls to strangers, which I actually really hate doing? If you let people know that, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, all right, 30 seconds. Why are you doing this? And then we get to share the why for us personally. And that's when I will say, because, we don't have a lot of time. I'm not going to talk about the million reasons. I will say, so the reason I'm doing this is because I'm a mom and I have a 14-year-old kid who is LGBTQ. And Republicans are targeting kids like mine. They're driving up their suicide rates in really terrifying ways. And I've seen the impacts of their rhetoric on my kid. So what I'm asking people to do is if they feel like this election won't impact them, I am telling you it impacts my kid. I see it. I am asking you to consider voting for kids like mine because they are targeted. And if Republicans win, more kids like mine will die. That is why I'm making these phone calls. And I cannot tell you how often that has turned even like a 23-year-old guy who's like, yeah, I don't care. I have had guys like that say, yeah, I will vote for your kid. Now, I don't know if they actually will, but I have given them something to think about. What I'm actually doing is connecting on a heart level, not an intellectual level. And that's what we need to do. Every single one of us has that. Whether we are a Black person saying, I had to have the talk with my kid. Can you vote for my kid? If not yours, whether we are someone who's got healthcare issues who says, I am going to lose my health insurance if this person wins. Whatever it is, when we speak from the heart, we are more likely to connect to the heart of the other person. This is sort of deep canvassing, but
Right.
again, fortunately, we've got to do it fast because everybody's thinking about their time. But if you start from the heart and talk quickly from the heart, you will be astonished how often someone will actually say, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get that. I have a nephew who's LGBTQ, or yes, I am, whatever the thing is, or yeah, I'm on Medicare and I don't want to lose that. Whatever the thing is, if we talk from our why, it is powerful.
More powerful.
So I guess I'm bifurcating this into two things. So first, we want to keep the person on the phone long enough that we can get them to that conversation. And that we do with our smile. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. This is going to be quick. And I'm just a volunteer. I'm just a mom. I'm a middle-aged lady sitting here on my couch. When we say those things, we can usually keep them on the phone long enough to get to the why this election is so important and why we, from our heart, are making these calls. Now, this is not going to work every time. People are hardened and a lot of people are just going to be like, screw you. But every once in a while, more often than I can tell you, we are going to be able to penetrate that person's heart and get them to at least think about what we're going to say. And the final thing I'll say is that we are also doing GOTV now. So then we are also talking to people who are Democrats, but are not actually clear on like when they're going to vote, where they're going to vote, and then we can help them. Do you know where your polling place is? Oh, I probably do. Can I double check for you? Because the Republicans are moving them a lot. Can I help you with a ride? Are you sure you know where your ride is? And then if they know all of that stuff, can you commit to me that you will get 3 other people to vote? Even if you don't want to volunteer for us, do you know that you're relational, that talking to people in your life is more powerful than even the phone banking I'm doing right now? So every step of the way, trying to get people to do the extra bit beyond what they're already saying they're going to do. And then ending with a huge, like, this conversation with you made my day. Thank you for being a voter. And remember, I'll stop with this really. Thank people not for voting, but for being a voter, because we're trying to reaffirm that that's what these people are. They are voters. It's an integral part of who we are. It's not something we do, it's who we are. And when we thank them for being a voter, we are affirming that that's what they are and making it more likely that they will actually vote. Okay.
Yeah. I love that. No, and what I think when I listened to you when on that particular program when you did talk about phone banking, and I was happened to have to phone bank the next day, I have to say that it really kind of, even somebody I've been doing it for years, kind of refresh yourself, because you get on that dialer and it's like bing, bing, and you're waiting for them to pick up, and they tell you just start talking right away, right? You're like, okay. So just in that little, you have that little bit of time to sort of capture them, and you feel like, how do I right away make it in that time to say this, like, hey, I'm Katherine, I'm a volunteer, click. Sometimes people just hang up right away. But it gave me really a way to reframe it. I'm going to say something else. I've been able to use those ideas at the door. Yes. And when I'm out canvassing, let me just tell you about canvassing during football season. Okay. And the football game's on, not a good time to send people to the door, but here we are during the Commanders game with the Ravens. And I'm like, I'll be quick. Give me those Doritos, So I think those points are really good. And how late can you stay today? I know you have to maybe pop.
I've got another thing at 10:30. I can stay and multitask. So I'll be working.
I was just asking because I know that Amy Laufer is holding on, and she now is outside where I see her. She has to pop off too. But I want to say thank you and bring Amy up because we're going to be phone banking. She's a delegate down in District 55, Jessica. And so we'll be phone banking for Gloria Witt. So if you could stay with us, I just want to say a quick thank you to Jessica Craven for being here, for Chopwood, Carrie Water. And I want to make sure we bring Amy up, and stick around if you can, Jessica. Thanks. And please ask questions of Jessica. She'll answer them. So thanks. If we can. So yes, and Finale Norton.
Thanks so much, Katherine. I do have to literally leave at the moment. I'm at the Maternal Health Care Summit and I came outside. I'm so excited though that you are doing this work. You guys are totally amazing champions. Just want to let you know, I'm in the Women's Memorial in Richmond here to take us full circle. Gloria's an amazing candidate for Congressional District 5. And if any of you all live out there, we have Bob Good, who is the Freedom Caucus guy. We also have now Senator McGuire, who, was a January 6th insurrectionist on the ballot with Gloria. She is an amazing champion from Amherst County. So excited about what she's bringing to the table. She grew up on a farm, and I did too. So as I introduce her, I always say, we know what it's like. We have to kill it, grow it, to eat it. And that brings you the humbleness that makes you when everyone is counting on you. And we need people like that in our General Assembly and in our Congress. So I hope I put in a bunch of links in the chat already for the door knocking that we're going to be doing with her on Saturday in Charlottesville, which is tomorrow. And then there's the website for Gloria, as well as a donation link. And if you are in the Charlottesville area, every Thursday night, we write postcards and do phone banking at Ix Park. So, and I can I'll send that to you, Katherine, as well. But I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all of your hard work, you guys. It really does matter. And please if we can take ourselves out of our comfort zone for just a couple more days to make this thing happen, it's really important. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I know that you have to run, and I want to say that we have with us Delegate Amy Laufer, House District 55, and that you're there for the maternal health informational panel to be on that. We know that's so important when we talk to voters, and I know this is really a big deal. And we know that Gloria just had the debate. She did so well against I call him, Bob Bad and John McGuire, the insurrectionists, right?
Yes, it's true. Well, thank you guys so much. I am going to go.
Go
So
ahead,
take
and
care.
I'm going to talk to
Okay,
Janelle
thank
first.
you.
Bye, Delegate Amy
No, no,
Laufer.
no, no, no.
Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah, bye-bye. So bye, Amy, we can just chat for a minute
can do
about
a
Gloria.
challenge. Right? Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do
that'd be great. Okay, take care.
Bye-bye. And
Bye-bye. Well, I just wanted to say a couple of things about Gloria. I think Amy, Delegate Laufer did a great job. And I know Frida has lots of information that she'll put in the chat, but what I think that people won't know is that she raised more money than Bob Good. She
McGuire.
has outraised them. Yeah, McGuire, she's outraised them, which is fantastic. So when you think about that, that means that there are people and supporters who are behind her and believe that she can win this race. And so that is why it's so important as we think about the challenge that we're going to talk about, is that all of us on the phone have an opportunity to make a difference in a district, in a congressional district that we didn't really have our eyes open for, and which is why all eyes are on Virginia, because we could really do this.
It's really up to us, and I'm going to say, give the pat on our back to people in this room that, one, have donated to the Billboard campaign. We're going to talk about how that made a difference. That really want to join us for the phone banks. We can't all travel down to these areas that are far away, but man, getting on the phone. I know some people have been writing postcards, but Gloria in that District 5, it's been really a great. Used to be blue, that area, right? And we're fighting our way back. Gloria's a great candidate. We have a great opportunity because of Bob Goodin's write-in campaign for himself. But not even that. She has been doing the work and going everywhere. I can tell you that she's showing up across the district. So it's really awesome to see her doing that. And so, yes, I'm tickled to death. Tickled.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's because we have these two guys. So Good, he's writing himself in. McGuire is there, so they're like canceling out each other. So it's just ready made for us to take an opportunity here to make this happen. So why don't we talk about the Do Something Challenge? Because we've been talking about phone banking, but let's do a review of what happened in last week's challenge, which was postcards. So yeah, so you were sort of riding the ship on that one in terms of the postcard. How do we do? Did we get all those postcards done? It was 10,000 postcards.
Well, not 10,000. So we did
It was 1,000.
We did two big things. I'll say that for the rural area in Greene County, for Piedmont and Vidman's area, we wrote 1,000, and those addresses are gone. That was very direct right to women. We did that. Awesome. Thank you for those who took the addresses. We did 5,000 addresses. That was Robbin went to her top people, as we call it, her top people in the writing, and took on this challenge of writing 5,000 postcards that needed to turn around directly to get, these are people that got an absentee ballot and have not turned it out. These are women in this district. And that is also a challenge that we took on, an extra challenge, and actually got that done. I'm very excited about that. So yeah, postcards. So let's talk about billboards.
Yeah. So Lindley's gonna roll. Yeah, Lindley's gonna come on, and we're gonna talk about the last billboards that we did, which were awesome. So I know we've got a couple of pictures, but Lindley, I'll let you go first, and then we'll bring up your favorite pictures to show. Robbin has them.
Yeah, thank you all so much for investing in this project. The billboard in Brunswick County is already there. I received some very excited text messages. I believe, if I'm not wrong, that the chair of the Minnesota Democratic Party is in Virginia in the next few days and is going to be down in Brunswick County. And the Brunswick County chair is trying to make sure he has to drive over the bridge to see their billboard that they're very excited about. So thank you all so much for making that possible. And then the two more billboards, one in Leslie Mehta's district and one in Gloria Witt's district, with a Stop Project 2025 message as well, but a different graphic. Those are printed, and I am just waiting for the billboard folks to give me a confirmation that those billboards are up as well. And as soon as I have those pictures, I will send them along.
I just want to say something real quick. We've been doing this work, and now let's just toot our horn that we can put billboards across Virginia if we were in charge. You wonder why. But Fennell and Lindley, the work that you guys are doing to get these up, this is so awesome. I just want to say that I wish we could put them up on every street corner. So
we've had a lot of fun. And in Fennell's area, we've got sticky notes on the front page of the Eastern Shore Post starting today all the way through Election Day. This is just a really fun thing that the Democrats have wanted there. And the editor of the paper, on the phone with him the other day, I placed a full page ad. We'll be doing full page ads every week until Election Day. And he said, if you're on the shore right now, you cannot miss the Rural Ground Game John Deere signs on the road. You can't miss the billboards. One of the billboards had some bushes growing up in front of it. And Fennell and her husband and other folks in the area reached out and we got those bushes taken care of. So now you can see one of their 6 billboards on the shore very, very clearly. So it's been a lot of fun, help get the word out. We are still doing newspaper ads. So additional money that comes in is going to be used for our dialer phone banking. We really want to push hard for Leslie and Gloria in their districts. We're doing some newspaper ads like the one you'll see here at the link that I'll drop in the chat. That one is out in Leslie's district. We're looking at some newspapers down in Southside Virginia, as well as some other rural papers in Virginia. So any dollars you can throw our way. Robbin has the link that is kind of the big one for all of our federal work this year. And we'll use that money for direct voter contact and advertising from here to Election Day. And I'll give you an update, Katherine, Robbin, whoever, via email about our videos that we will be running on rural gas station pumps in the final 2 weeks of the election. So we are very excited about that as well.
So I love that we're doing. Go ahead, Fennell.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't go anywhere, Lindley, because I wanted to say the Friends of the Democrats, Deborah Wharton, who's on this call all the time, Pat Smiley, the local Democrats, everybody has just come forward in this small rural community and across with the support of Rural Ground Game to get all of this stuff done. And so now when we're thinking about these other districts that we really want to work in for Leslie and for Gloria and a few others, we're trying to figure out how do we do that. And that is where the phone bank comes in. So what did you want to say, Katherine?
That's all that exactly. And I just have to say that we have not stopped. When we say it's up to us, when we realize there's any gaps, we just jump in. And I love people in this room. They're doing the same thing. What I see Frida being very active she's an indivisible leader out there for Gloria Witt. And I see Brad Skipper in this room. I see our people going out and doing what it takes and not waiting for anybody. This last push for these phone banks are going to help us bring the win, and we're doing it together. We're going to do it together. Women calling women. I want to say that when we say this, I just want to be clear. I thought we were doing phone banks where anybody can phone bank to women. What are we saying here?
Yeah, anybody can call. And
Okay,
just understand that this is the first one for October 20th that we need to raise money for, and we need to raise a little over $5,000 in order to be able to do 10,000 calls. And I know Jess has been talking about this, but these will be really easy calls to make because these will be to Democratic women that we just need them to get a little bit of hustle on to call. And so we have the Act Blue in. And like Katherine has said, we are a volunteer organization. We don't get money. We don't have money. So when we need to do something, that's what this exactly to try to pay for it, to keep the lights on. So this is where we have an opportunity to really participate in a way that is going to be meaningful to CD 7 where we can, but really we're focused on 1 and 5. And we'll do more. If we can do more, we will do more because we know that we know how to make these calls. Yeah. Yeah. Did I say 1? Yeah, 1.
No, I'm saying October 28th, join us for that phone banking, men, women on the phone, calling women voters, because we know this is what we're talking about, especially specific to women and their families, is going to really move the needle in these areas. And it's the key. And I want to remind everybody too, bring us back to the issue from when Roe was overturned to the election denying to the January 6th. These issues are pushing also Republican voters toward our way to vote. So when we talk about Roe again, we talk about these incidents, we are really building our coalition out when we are, just talking especially about returning back to the women's rights issue. At the end of this campaign, I think we need to pivot back to the abortion issue because it highlights the freedom issue. And we need to remind people what's at stake with Project 2025.
Yeah, and I love what Jess was saying in terms of making it personal, making people understand that that these are our personal things. I always think about the suffragist movement and that it's 100 years, man. It's 100 years to get the right to vote. And then after 50 years, then we lose the right to be able to have the choices about your body. And so I just think we have an opportunity now to fix what was just done in this election. We got, days to do it, but it can be done. But I think it's important.
Yeah, talking away. Lindley, I'm sure you've heard this. They're like, well, we want to make sure women don't vote. They're going to take the vote away. I'm like, are these people serious?
Yeah, I don't know if you all saw the video of the 81, 82-year-old woman who voted for the first time. And that is not just voter suppression. That's abuse. And that is true for a lot of women. I'll be sharing a resource in the chat that is Vote Without Fear. It's a really great resource that just helps explain to people that your vote is truly private. It is not legal for someone to come and look over your shoulder or impose their will on you and your vote. And the other thing I wanted to say, kind of going back to what Jess was saying, I could give a very, very similar account. I also have a 12-year-old who is LGBTQ+. I have personally seen the impact that these attacks have had on my own child. And if you joined us last year for the dialer phone banks where we were calling 100,000 women across Virginia to highlight this issue, something that we talked about was making it personal. That's where you're not going to misrepresent one of the candidates on the ticket because you're talking about yourself. You're talking about what's bringing you to the table. And that can be really nobody can replace that for you, is you telling your personal story. And it helps the person listening maybe be willing to share their own. I really recommend that. And something we found really helpful was for folks to have a picture of your family member, have a picture close by when you're making those calls so that as you're waiting for the next person to pick up, you're kind of resetting, you're really centering yourself around what matters to you in this moment. And that might be the people who matter the most to you in the moment. And they'll help you get through those calls. And honestly, they're more friendly than you think most of the time. A lot of people are really grateful to get the helpful information you're having. And if you come across a not so nice person, well, you're on a call with the team and we'll laugh about it and keep going.
Leslie, we're going to bring up Leslie Mehta, the candidate in CD1, and maybe you want to stay a second and talk about the billboard.
Stay here, Lindley. Hi, Leslie. How are you?
Everybody, I'm glad to be here. I did want to say too that I appreciate. I've seen some of Lindley's signs too, so that's been wonderful.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love seeing.
You're going to see more signs because we're going to get those phone calls out for you. So I want you to do the talking. So tell us what is going on. Tell us.
Oh my goodness, 18 days to go. We have TV ads that have come out. We're talking about Whitman's abysmal record on abortion. We know that crosses lines. It's not just Democrats, but Republicans too, who vote accordingly. He had what's called a life at conception bill. It was an abortion ban bill that would have been no exceptions and no carve out for IVF. And I talk a lot about how IVF is particularly important to me. My two girls, my daughter who passed away from a rare disease and my 5-year-old were IVF babies. So for me, it is very personal. And we're just really excited about the opportunity to have that ability to talk to so many people. It is a very big district, 18 counties and cities. And we have gone up and down over and over. We have our rural parts and making sure that people are getting out to vote. I think you all were talking a little bit earlier about how some of the rural areas, there are more Democrats out there than we think. And so I'm from a small rural town in North Carolina, a town of 800. And so this is particularly important to me, talking to those folks who sometimes feel left out and talking about the issues. Yes, we talk about broadband because that's important, but we know that there's more to talking to rural voters than just broadband, investing in public school education and making sure people have access. In addition to making sure that healthcare is affordable, we want to make sure that they have access to that healthcare. Those kinds of things are incredibly important. I can go forward, or if you wanted to ask a question,
Well,
but I'm happy to keep going.
I have a question for you. And so I really want to know, what are the things, I know I always say and, it's never or, it's and. What are things that you think are really working, though, that you like, I didn't know if we did that it would work? What are some of the things that are working? And if you could have anything, what would it be right now?
Okay, so I'll tell you that some folks think of Whitman as more moderate than he actually is. He comes across that way. He comes across as a nice guy. He'll shake people's hands. I was encouraged to hear, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm encouraged to hear about Gloria Witt's debate last night. And I owe her a phone call, by the way, and I'm going to do that. But Whitman hasn't debated me. There have been multiple opportunities. A lot of organizations have reached out. I've ended up turning those into, talks to people about issues, but he refuses to debate me because he knows how bad his 17-year record has been on so many issues. He's an election denier. Some folks don't remember that. He voted not to certify the Pennsylvania votes. And so that has been resonating with people. The fact that not only I'm a lawyer and I've practiced for 20 years. I'm the former legal director of the ACLU of Virginia. I've also worked across the aisle on rare disease legislation. Really, that was a lot of the work that I did because my daughter had a rare disease. And so I started working with folks like Abigail Spanberger, Democrats and Republicans, and they all signed on to help except Rob Whitman, incumbent in this seat. And a lot of folks, not only Democrats, but Republicans are saying, wow, to not help out on issues that really should be nonpartisan, because they are. And we're a light work for not only Democrats, but Republicans too, to sign on to that, and didn't. And people are just, they don't realize sometimes how extreme he's been on so many issues, going back to the national abortion ban that he wanted. And so as we talk to people, making sure that we get that message out, our TV ads have helped in that way. And talking about the kinds of things that we need, certainly phone banking. And I'm excited about Network Nova coming down to Chesterfield and helping us soon. I think it's the Saturday before the election.
November 2nd. So real quick, and I know what Lee's here, I know that these billboards have been helpful. We know that Ben Klein in CD6, where Ken Mitchell's running against Ben Klein, Gloria's running against another Republican that really hasn't delivered, right? And we know Rob Whitman has really taken credit for the infrastructure bill, by the way, that he voted against. So, right. So Leslie, Lindley, I don't know if you have like a question around that in the sense of the media market, or, what the best way of how to hold these particular Republicans accountable, and in your view, Lindley, about what you're doing or how to make that impact. I don't know, like in the newspaper that's in Northern Neck. What are you thinking for Leslie?
Yeah, so for us, and just to be clear, we have to be friendly but separate because we are doing independent expenditures over here. So we are running newspaper ads. The billboard is a good one, and mostly what we're trying to do is give people just sound bites. The sticky notes that we've ordered, I'll put the picture of those in the chat again. Those are going to be in our hands next week. We'll definitely have those in Leslie's district. It will kind of match the newspaper ad because a lot of the idea there is to really flood the zone. The idea there is to like get these in women's bathroom stalls, like get creative. Please do the campaign-driven direct voter contact as much as you possibly can. Like nothing can help more than that. But that's also where we're looking for some out-of-the-box things. Like we are doing some geofencing this morning to look at which gas station pumps we will be placing our ads. A lot of these are going to be 15 seconds, just talking about how critical it is to defend Social Security, and that Project 2025 is a threat to that. And the only thing people can do to stop it in its tracks is to vote for every single Democrat on their ballot.
Yeah, and I just want to add for Leslie, if you may already be doing this, and I'll be so excited if you are, and that is especially in your rural communities, is radio ads. And so those are great. I'm recording the radio ads for our community, and so we have something on every single day, 2 times a day in many cases. Wow. And so we're just trying to get, yeah, I know, me. And so we're just trying to get the messages out there. It's Friends of the Democrats. They're paying for it. And I just keep on talking so that they can hear what's happening every single day.
Well, that's awesome. So yeah, and I know it's right almost 1. So I hope that Leslie, if you can stay a few minutes and come to the after chat, we need to do a wrap up. And Jessica Craven, so sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do we have a total on what we've gotten so far in terms of raising money?
Raising money for you. I don't know. I'm not in charge of the money.
Sorry, I can't multitask, y'all. I will, on the other side, I will go back and do a quick look at that and give you an update.
Yeah, people could donate to that dialer. I had sent it out to Conley and all kind of elected and different friends and just said, hey, we really want to do this initiative. We think it will move the needle. So
we'll move the needle.
Yeah, we'll move the needle. So yes, so thank you, Leslie. Mehta running for Congress in CD1. Believe it or not, in Virginia, folks, we have a lot of women running for Congress, and it's up to us to make sure that they get everything they need to win. So thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Lindley.
Catherine, if they want to donate, they can always do that too. LeslieMehta.com.
Of course, we want to make sure you have campaign money. We know that, I mean, I was looking at some of the numbers on VPAP somebody sent to me. Vidman had raised like 14 million. I'm like, can you just kind of put that money around a little bit more? What's the matter? You know? So anyway, I want to say to everybody, thank you for being on the show and thank you for being with us today. And next week, I'm excited. On October 25th, next Friday, we'll have Tom Bonnier, CEO of Terra Group, and also the senior advisor of Target Smart. But Rachel Bidikofer is coming back because we're going to do, we just need some Rachel. We need that. And I want to thank everybody, our guests on the show today. Thank you for coming here. Jessica Craven still in the room, so hopefully she'll stick with us on the other side. She is the Substack newsletter author of Chopwood Carry Water. Thank you for being here, Jessica Craven. Also, we had on Leslie Mehta, just spoke to her in CD1, and Delegate Amy Laufer joined us from House District 55th District. Woohoo! So we're really feeling good. Thank you to the team today for bringing it every week. We can't do this show without the team we assembled. If you're interested in joining the team, just let us know. Send us an email. We'd love to have you. And lastly, am I forgetting anything for now?
I think you got it, except I'll just plug again because, we're plugging. Let's raise money for the dialer. That will be really awesome so that we can help Leslie go to Congress. And Gloria Witt and everybody else who's going to be in Virginia.
And you know what? Let's also push. Is everybody getting those emails now telling us like, "Oh my God, the sky is falling"? Well, we're going to hold up the sky together. Together, we're going to do this. Come, every Friday, get in the room, get into action, and we're going to be stronger together. Let's do it. Let's roll, and I'll see you on the other side.